I want to talk about the next one from Housingwire. Here's why we won't build millions of new homes. This one is honestly probably a big problem because we need millions of new homes. We need a lot of demand. I know that means something for pricing of homes if we just like flood the market, but also we will have a functional, I'll say technical problem of building that many homes because that takes a long time. Yeah. It's not like you can just make a million overnight or even in a year. This is going to take years to do this. Yeah. But we need more than millions. But this is making some statements of why we can't. So we have heard a lot about the need for millions of homes during the run-up to the election and then even after the election. So here's some of the problems we're gonna face. Building permits is one of them. The potential use of federal land is going to be the other. I think things are going to get tied up in court cases for however many months or years that's going to take.
More than 4.
I don't think that it's realistic for us to think that we are going to have millions of homes in the next 5 years. I think it's going to be maybe million homes in 5 years. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be millions.
No,
agree, disagree?
Not. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. This is not going to be convenient, nor is it a fast process for builders. You guys got to remember, inflation is a real thing. It's happening. So,
it's just not a figment of my imagination, like they're telling me it is.
And at the same time,
I thought I was imagining things this whole time.
They're also not going to move fast, right? They still, most contractors still have a bad taste from 2008-9.
That'll sink your pricing. You do too many. You flood the market with it, then it's going to sink your price.
That's
your price tag. So there's an advantage for them to slow walk it, if you will.
And that's why our federal government's willing to give some of their land. Hey, you guys build right here, but a lot of times there's not going to be a lot of takers just like that.
I mean, I agree that there might be a lot of stipulations that like brings down their profits. There's like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, I understand, but I don't know if that's a great business move. So they'll be like, hold on. And the people that do, they'll probably do it.
But here's the thing too, Brian, is like they may give us all these incentives that sound great, right? But if we build slower, that just keeps the pent-up demand.
Yeah, it keeps the pent-up demand going.
That way, when I do put my house and I build, these, because remember, they release these homes in stages. Right? Back in 2008.
Phases,
Remember? Back in 2004, 5, when they were building back here in our backyard, it was crazy. They had a lottery system.
To get into phase 1.
And it wasn't, to get in whatever phases. You wanted to get in the first phases right away because, by phase 8, 9,
you already know how much.
You already have like 30, 40, 100,000 in equity, right? So that was good for you. And that process took about another year or so. So by the time you bought in a year, you already have $80,000 to $100,000 in equity, right? So I would remember like on Saturdays, I would go by the new builders. People would be there like if it was Black Friday.
Yeah, a line out the door.
It was a line. People just like going in there early, trying to save their spots just so they can put their name on something, roll that thing, and then pick their name hopefully.
Lottery.
Crazy.
So the claim, one of the claims here is that the housing report that they have shows that builders would get more bullish when mortgage rates head towards 6. But you know what's funny is they set the floor at 6. They didn't say 5.5. They didn't say 5. They certainly didn't say 4.5 or 4. They said 6. Yeah. So back to the whole like normalizing the current market, and where we're at now is kind of where we're going to be. This like 6 to 7. Like the claim again is builders will become more bullish when rates go back towards 6. Yeah. So we believe that. We don't believe that.
Of course.
I mean, I believe it not because they're saying it.
I do believe it, but it's not going to be like, I'm already building 20 homes right now, and let's just say a month, right? I'm going to build 30 now.
No, I think it's functional. I'm saying it because I think it's functional because again, there's a lead time to this. You can apply for your permit today. You're not breaking ground tomorrow.
Nope.
You're months in the process before you're breaking ground, before you're getting all the stuff happening to build a structure someone could actually buy and live in. Yeah. So, but
not months. It takes years, guys.
I'm trying to be favorable.
I know it takes years. Like this is crazy. People think it's a fast process. It's not a fast process. Obviously, we have our own deals. They're not big buildings like this, but we're doing it at a smaller scale.
And that takes time.
And we're like a year and a half, 2 years in.
Right, but what I'm getting at though is if we know it takes that long lead time and they're not doing it now, does that suggest that they aren't anticipating 6s in the future? Yeah, because you're talking about lower mortgage rates in 20. You see what I'm saying? Like when I step back from all of it and I go, wait a minute. Well, if they are expecting 6s to be kind of like this bullish arena, then and it's not 5. Okay, so if 6 is our target and we think 6 is on the horizon, wouldn't they be taking action right now?
Right now.
So if they're not taking action, that would mean that maybe they don't expect 6 on the horizon.
Exactly.
That tells me something too, and I kind of don't like that.
Interesting.
The argument
I got something to worry about.
Yeah.
Well, not worry, but the reason I'm saying is is that if that is the marker, then that also thinks that also says that's where they think the sweet spot is for buyer demand to qualify. I think it's about affordability. Back to your point earlier, the affordability I think is being driven by that, because then they know, it's not just sentiment that can bring people in; it's that they can actually get keys from me for buying at this price.
And here it is. Here's the facts, right? When you're looking at the permits, housing permits, and stuff. So it's all there.
Yeah, it is single. And what's crazy? Not crazy. We've seen this too. Single family permits are in the tank. But the multifamily permits are like skyrocketing because people want these 5-unit, 10-unit, even little mini neighborhoods of 20 or 30.
I think.
And why is that?
Forced appreciation, leverage, being able to make money off your property,
profit margin,
and profit. Yeah,
and density. Right. We're finding a lot of issues with density problems. We're starting to have more people wanting to be within the city. Because everything's there. The cities are becoming funner now. Like I go to downtown. Before, it used to be like, oh, okay. Now there's a lot to do in the city and downtown. It's so different. People walking their dogs. There's like, you sit down and you could just people watch. You got now, most cities are now having like their stadium there. So it's making it like where it's gravitating people in. You see our mall before, like here in downtown, the mall, believe it or not, guys, the mall building, Hornan Plaza, was the reason why our downtown changed.
Yeah.
Well, right. It was a center point. It was a center
point, but prior to that, it was just a lot more adult pornography stuff going on over there. You didn't even want to go over there.
Clubs were janky. It was just office buildings and a lot of chaos downtown.
Changed. As soon as that came in, it started changing everything. Yeah. Right. And now with the stadium there, like look at our bars and all that stuff. Everything's just so much funner.
Yeah.
When would you see one of the streets close for pedestrians just to walk and see, hey, I want to go to this restaurant.
Right. No, the gas lab now is like walkable.
Right. No, before they would not close that.
No. It was a thoroughfare. Now it's like an occasion. Like you can.
It's always most of the time not closed. Yeah.
So that's what I mean. That's why it's a lot of density now. People are trying to build within the downtown limits because they already know they're going to get a higher price. And it's going to cost them the same amount to build, whether it's there or further out.
And I have a theory. I think part of the downtown affordability for people, I know the density conversation is one, because we had previously talked about the price per square foot going up. We talk about like home price total going up year over year, but then we see that they're building less square footage, less porch, less patio, less kind of that kind of thing. So our price per square foot has gone up. And I was like, hey guys, keep your eye on that. No matter whether it's single family, townhome, or condo, that's going to tell the story. My other theory that I have not told you is I think what they're banking on a little bit silently is that people will carry less travel expense than they would normally in a neighborhood, like a suburb, right? So if I live downtown, I don't have a car, or I don't need a car.
Yeah.
But that's $600, $700 a month I'm not spending on my vehicle that I can apply towards my debt to income ratio.
Yeah.
I think that's going to work for people because that's extra money they wouldn't have on paper to be able to apply towards a housing payment.
Yeah.
I feel that's why you see a lot of high rises with like ultimate like amenities, because you don't have to go too far to get whatever you got to get done. There's a haircut place down the street. The grocery store is right under, you got stores right there. The bar you could walk to, you don't have to drive, like Annie said. So I think that's why you see a lot of downtown. They're popping up every day.
Yeah, exactly. Not even walk down the street. In the same building, they're probably even there now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like you'll see like one building, 3 buildings next to each other, and they're all high rises. Like
Yeah. And you guys already see COVID changed a lot. It changed the trajectory of how these builders are going to build too. Because we're starting to see even commercial buildings now being transformed
converted
to multi-use, to mixed use.
Yeah.
Where it's residential now with business. Because people are working from home.
Yeah.
So ultimately when all the chips fall, what do you think is going to be the catalyst that will address the apathy that there is for building? Is it just going to be pure profit, or is it going to be actually like people who step forward trying to actually solve a housing problem? Do you think it's going to be both? Like,
you really want
question.
that? No, it's not tough. I think it's profit. It's always going to be profit.
Only.
Listen, you only have one Mother Teresa. And there's a reason why we only have one Mother Teresa.
Okay.
Not everybody's out there to give, right? But we have a lot of people that need to make a profit, that live off a profit. And therefore, we do things out of profit, you know? And the majority of people, I would say, it's going to be for that. So they're trying to figure out how we're just going to make sure that when we're building, how we're going to profit. So keep it down. let's not build so fast, so quickly. Like it's just not going to be something that's going to happen.
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily a silly question. I was asking because I know that builders also do altruistic things. Like they do stuff in the community and they're going to build parks and they're going to include things like that. I understand that. I also understand they do a good handful of them to have nonprofits and foundations, things like that. I get that part. At some point, though, the apathy has to go away. Because we don't solve the problem by resting on our laurels, sitting on our hands. Because so something has to give is kind of my point. And then the question is like, what is it? Is it going to be someone sticking their neck out and going, you know what? I might take a lower margin, but there's enough margin for me to still justify doing it, and I'm going to go and do it, and the profit will be what it is.
I understand that, but I don't see that happening, Andy.
That's fair. That's why I'm asking.
Since 2000, how many units were we behind? So I'm like, if they haven't picked up the slack and we've gone through how many ups and downs since then, like, it shows that when the money's there, they'll show up to build.
Yeah. Okay. So in order for the money to be there, we need looser policies. We need more land. We need more favorable prices.
And you got to remember, guys, we have a lot of, it may sound like these builders are big time builders, but these builders are not as big as the corporate world type, like
there's a lot of local builders.
There is. And these guys, if they don't close a certain amount of homes, they take a loss on a home or two, that could just deteriorate their whole business.
Let's put it this way. Let's put it in context for everyone watching. Let's say you build a neighborhood with 10 single-family homes. And let's say that in order to build that neighborhood, it costs you selling 8 of them just to clear your expenses.
Yeah.
And you only make profit on 2 of them.
That's tough.
That could be, if you talk about a 20% margin, like drive by a neighborhood, count 10 homes, and think that 8 of those homes, it took you to sell 8 of those just to make the neighborhood possible. And then 2 of them you made profit on.
Yeah, that's a lot of risk, right? That's a lot of risk. And here's what a lot of people don't understand is these developers have a certain margin that they have to sell the home for to offer these incentives, etc. That's why they offer those incentives to attract people to come in. And if you notice, they've been removing a lot of the real estate commission. They used to pay 3%.
That's right.
Now they give referral fees of like $500, flat fees. Like you don't get a percentage anymore. And good luck if you don't sign up to be the person representing your
and why is that? And why do they do that? That's because they know their margin is compressed as well.
Profit preservation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we got to consider all these factors that come into play.
Yeah,
makes sense. Because they're squeezing over here to.
But we need Red Rocks and Black Rock and
Red Rock. I
was thinking already casino. In Vegas.
Yeah.
Black Rock. Like come on, you guys have all these trillions of dollars. Come on, instead of trying to make it a renter's nation. Come on, go in there.
Do we want that? Do we want that?
No, what we're saying is like now you guys develop.
Look at how uncomfortable I just got. I'm like, I know. I don't want to talk about them.
Yeah, imagine developing. Huh? No.
I just see things are working right now. They're gonna keep steady Eddie with this.
What I'm curious about is who will flinch first. That's what I'm wondering. Who's gonna blink?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be the Fed? Is it gonna be the mortgage market? Is it gonna be builders? Is it gonna be local municipalities? Is it gonna be the government? Like someone's gonna blink. Someone's gonna flinch, and then I think it's the game's on.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be local municipalities because they're gonna be
they're gonna need it.
Yeah.
Like we need to do it. Like it doesn't matter. And then the government will be like, hey, well, what's going on over here? And then I think
they need to do it for tax revenue. Yeah. And if they don't do it to solve the housing problem, then people just leave.
There you go. That's
so then they leave.
I'm like, they're going to have to start from the bottom up.
Well, we'll see. Because we're not getting a lot of people saying we're going back to San Diego, right?
Well, that's
when
true.
They leave.
That's my point. That's my whole point of them leaving is if you can't solve their housing problem, they just go somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it already.
We have people that drive here and live in Temecula, Murrieta, like Menifee. Like, why? Because they can live up there and they can drive down here.
But we'll see now with the gas prices too, with this new situation, which is another conversation. But that's another 47 cents going to be added. So we'll see. Thanks, California.
Let's continue.
Yeah.